Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. I'm your host for L2 Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Basketball Wives Orlando. This is season 1, episode 7. There's stuff to cover. I don't think I'll be before you too long, anyways. But I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. Please be sure to do it. And subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber. Welcome back to all of my subscribers and viewers. And if you're just viewing, why haven't you actually subscribed? Come on. Also, you can leave your comments below on this episode and any of my commentary. All right, so let's get into it. Milan and Nick, they meet. And basically, she was talking about her experience with how she was about to fight Danny. She said that she blacked out. Milan, you did not black out. Like, stop it. You knew what you were going to do, and that was it. And you need to get a little rah-rah for a scene. We know all about reality TV. I know you're just stepping on this platform, but hey, guess what? Everybody's not a dum-dum when it comes to reality TV. She says that she started showing Neek the lie as to what she was actually responding to. It was Neek saying all this stuff about Milan getting hit or accidentally hit, and Danny was co-signing by laughing in the background. Nikki was basically making fun of Milan. As far as, I don't understand this at all and why people are interpreting it a different way, but I guess Nikki said that, that Milan, I was swinging and Milan got in the way, or something to that nature. So somehow they took it as not it being a mistake, and I'm kind of lost. Like, what do you mean? It was a mistake. Your jaw got in the way. She wasn't trying to punch you. So what? It's not making any sense at all. Whatever. So Morgan and Danny, they meet up. Morgan took her children to a place to play games. She said that she's trying to spend as much time with the children because she's about to have the children go to a different place with their mom since her address has been compromised. So Danny shows up with her children also, and they all play, blah, 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 blah. So they talk about what happened. Danny's like, I don't even understand what the issue is. We already made it mutual. We don't like each other, and we cool. It's just like that. It's like, Milan, get over it. And I have been on Danny and Morgan's side for most of the time, and I still am regarding this because the argument doesn't really make sense. I think you were just mad that somebody was making fun of you getting hit, which really, Milan, you should have just hit her back by now, but you haven't as of yet. So hopefully you can fight. Possibly you can fight. We don't know. But anyways, I still don't see how it was more than an accident, because somehow things are getting twisted up, and I don't know where it's getting twisted up at, because Milan believes what she want to believe, but Nick kind of co-signed it too, so I don't know. They talked about Ashley. You know, basically, Morgan believes it is her because who else knows where she is? Then we switch over to Ashley and Mackenzie talking. And guess what happened? So Ashley wants to play this game up front instead of just saying what needs to be said. She admits to telling her new friend, well, not her new friend, but the friend of Morgan's ex, that she did tell her that they lived in Orlando. So she said, with my intelligent thinking, I would think that if he has money and he's able to afford private investigators, he was able to find her. Now, possibly, Ashley, you did not tell the friend where she lived at, but you knew that he hired a private investigator and was on her tail. Especially knowing that Morgan and the ex and the new girlfriend were beefing. So you're such a liar, as I've said from the beginning. And the reason people like you is because you're getting a good edit. And it's not that I don't know if I dislike you or not, because of the good edit that you did get. you're still looking good. Like, I like your story, but you've been messing your life, and possibly you're trying to show something different to the world than what you have been. But hey, the past comes knocking, and it's right in front of your face, and you have not dealt with it. That's what I think was going on. So Mackenzie says that she doesn't like that. She don't like that Mackenzie or Ashley would try to do anything to stop any type of child support payment. See, Ashley, you're going to have a rude awakening one day in your life, because all this stuff will come back on you at some point. And because your wife, you don't even understand what's going on in this whole divorce world and what goes on with these sports athletes. It's like, how dare y'all just be so cocky and so, how can I say this, intrusive on stuff that has nothing to do with you. your world is going to blow up on you. It don't matter how many wigs you give somebody, your world is going to blow up on you. All right, so we move on to Nikki. Her mom and sister has come to visit. Mom saying, how are you getting along with these girls? She just said, women are women, blah, 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 blah. But I have become the peacemaker. Nikki. You're the one that started the stuff between you and Milan. Even though Milan was talking behind their backs and should have went on to Morgan to tell her what's up. Or say, hey, girl, I don't like this, da, 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 da. But she didn't. Mom was kind of looking like, okay. She says that she's grown. I don't know about that. Because there's no way, and we'll get into that a little bit later, there's no way that you can start something and then mad when somebody claps back at you. And because you're sensitive about the backing of the clap, you think that somebody is supposed to walk around you when you can say what you want to say. Nah. Let's see. We're done with, they talk about the sister, and they have a good conversation about that. Megan and Ashley. She talks with Mackenzie about it. So this is what's up. Megan talks with Mackenzie about what happened with Ashley. She got a little problem with Ashley because at the time, Morgan and the ex's new girlfriend have been beefing and going back and forth. Well, Megan just went on and checked the story on Instagram of this new girlfriend. Mackenzie jumps in and says, well, actually, she said, well, Ashley did tell me that the new girlfriend did contact Ashley to say, hey, who is this girl that's contacting me? And that's when Ashley let it out that is Morgan's friend. Because what happened is that the girlfriend contacted her and says, what's your problem, or something to that nature. And she's like, well, why did she get involved? She didn't have to say any of that. I was just a bystander. There was nothing that Megan could have done from just watching the story. Now, it looks like Megan was being nosy. However, Megan's going to talk to Ashley about it. But she says, Mackenzie said that she doesn't like it because it's like you're inserting yourself in business. But then later on, she doesn't. Mackenzie flip-flops. It's like, I think it was just an honest mistake later on the episode. So what is it, Mackenzie? You say you didn't like it. So what's up? Megan said, I know that you're friends with her, but I really want to encourage you to see things the way that they are. Wrong is wrong. So they leave that conversation, and we are on with Ashley and her assistant. They talk a little bit about her mom and all that. They hug and all that good stuff. They're having the cancer party. She's inviting everyone, and whoever has beef with whomever just has beef, and that's okay. It is what it is. Morgan's at home, but she's moving. Since her address has been compromised, she wants to move. So again, the children vacated, and they're with their mom in Atlanta. If you haven't noticed in the last 2 episodes, Eric's name is not mentioned. It's always bleeped out, or she says X. Since those papers came in, just pay attention to what's going on. So obviously we don't understand everything that's happening. One thing that Morgan does say, it's not a beef between me and the ex-husband directly. It's about stuff that's going on with the custody battle and all that. And she says that she will fight and be Mama Bear. And I think that Ashley would understand that. Maybe Ashley could ask him more questions just to get a little bit more in Morgan's head, but you're too close to the situation, and I don't think Morgan's going to tell you anything. And then especially now that we know that you gave a little tea leaf to get things rocking in Morgan's world, she's not going to tell you anything. But you don't want to understand where she's coming from as much as you want her to stop messing with you, and you don't think that she understands you. Let's see. She says, well, the ex has not even contacted the children in 2 years. That's a shame. But he's doing all these different tactics to try to drag out the court case that they do have for custody and all that and child care. I understand about court. I understand how people will do you crazy. I dealt with that, and a lot of that for me was to bleed me dry so that I would have to just give up on my court case. And that's what happened to me. So anyways, it's interesting. So she knows she has to move and has to go someplace else. Hopefully she still stays on the remaining of the season. I don't know what's happening, but I think that was trifling, Ashley. Again, you inserted yourself in something that you should not have, and that's crazy. Mackenzie, she's having a cooking lesson. It's an Italian meal that everyone is cooking, and she just is tired of all the arguing, bickering, and she just wants a fun, light moment. And actually, they did, for real. While they're cooking, who showed up? Okay, Milan, Danny, and Morgan are not invited, which is interesting because Mackenzie and Milan meet up later. We don't know the reason why Milan isn't invited, but she's not invited. Whatever. So it was Megan and Nikki and Ashley that showed up. Megan's kind of in a different mood. Mackenzie does think it's because of Ashley and she has something to say. So as Mackenzie is trying to find out, or trying to cook and trying to separate the yolk from the egg part, the white part, Mackenzie doesn't know what part is which. And Megan's in her confessional like, Mackenzie, don't your man own a farm and you don't know this stuff? I mean, where's the lie, y'all? Where's the lie? In all of that, 1 point for Megan. Let's see. You're now okay. After everything they ate, all that good stuff, Ashley and Megan had a little short conversation. And Ashley asked Megan, "Do you have a problem with me?" And then she goes into what happened. I don't understand why you mentioned me into it. Leave the third parties out of it and send them on to me instead of all this other crap that's going on. I don't think looking at somebody's Instagram story should have been enough for just a little bit. So obviously, Mackenzie knows that Ashley has loose lips and she likes to start stuff behind the scenes, even though she looks angelic on camera. Morgan's been right all this time, y'all. I know y'all don't like to think that she's just being a bully. Whatever anger she's displaying is that she has a right to, and she knows that what's going on is what's going on. Okay, so. All right, so this is Ashley's cancer event. Ashley and Milan are traveling to the place. Milan says, well, I talked with Neek in regards to Megan, and Megan all of a sudden has all these problems with me that I did not know. She's saying I'm messy and all this good stuff. And I'm trying to understand, well, Danny has a problem with me. Apparently Megan got a problem with me. Nikki got a problem with me. And I haven't done anything to anyone, blah, 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 blah. So now Ashley has this hat of a villain era hat. Like, I could be a villain in your story. And also Ashley was saying that too. Even though we're finding out that the tea is finally being found out about Ashley being messy too. You are villains. So we get this sneak peek or a flashback of Megan talking with Neek about certain things. I guess Megan said stuff about Milan, and I think it's in reaction to what she knows that Milan has been saying about her, Megan. That's what the impression I was getting. So, anyways, the cancer event, I think that this was a very good event. They did it well. So congratulations to you, Ashley, and also to Nikki. The women were talking with the other women. Nikki's mom was talking with the women. They got the wigs together and allowed the women to did their makeup and walk a runway just to make them feel good. So I'm going to just say A+. So Megan wasn't really talking to, what's her name, at the Milan at the time. But anyways, Megan wanted to get eyelashes. She was talking with Mackenzie. I guess that's something that Mackenzie is doing. We haven't heard on the show yet. Because Mackenzie's just kind of still there. If Danny was not having beef with you, why are you there? Because you have solved everything with Neek. And basically you're quiet a little bit until I'm going to tell my boyfriend about you. That's what we hear from you. So it would be good to start promoting your business at this point because we need a lot more from you individually. So anyways, Milan pulls her to the side, just say, hey, can we talk? And she says, I heard that you have a problem with me, You say I'm messy. And basically Megan said, yeah, you're messy. And well, Milan says, well, how can I be messy if you're messy? And then Megan goes in and says, Milan asks, who, because Megan says that Milan has been talking about people. Well, who have I been talking about? You've been talking about Danny, you've been talking about Neek, you've been talking about almost everyone in this group. And then Milan's like, name one thing that I've done. So Danny says, well, you told me about Neek having a problem with these Telfar bags. Right then and there, Neek started breaking down, basically confirming that Milan has been talking about her. So then Milan's getting up, acting like she was about to do something, getting loud, and no, you're the messy one, It just felt like Milan was projecting everything back on someone else. And in her confessional, Megan's trying to turn everything up on me when she's the one that's messy. Milan, it looks like you're messy and you say stuff about the girls within the group. And then you're in a confessional. Well, everybody in the group just talks about one another. But you're not owning your stuff. And this is what Morgan said weeks ago. Stuff becomes full circle. That's one reason why I don't really let go of Danny and Morgan, because they be saying some truths. And the others be found out. It may take a couple episodes, but you're going to find out what's really going on. You have not owned anything that you have done. Then you standing up, about to stand over her like you about to fight. And Milan's like, it's only mad itches that got stuff to say and all da. And Megan said, I'm not mad. I'm just pointing out what's going on. So Megan goes to try to unclip her shoe since Milan wants to stand over her like she's ready to fight. And I don't even know if she can fight. If I'm really honest. I don't know if Milan can fight. We know Megan can. So, anyways, it kind of ends there because the security guard starts taking her off, and then Nikki starts saying something to Megan, and then Milan says something to Nikki, and then they start talking about the diaper booty that Milan has, which she does have, and Nikki was like, blah, 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 we don't like each other, da, 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 da. And Milan says, so why don't we like each other? Why don't you like me? Blah, 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 blah. Nikki couldn't really say anything about that. She's just talking about the body shaming. Nikki, you body shamed her first by calling her Oompa Loompa. And everybody knows what you were talking about. You can't get mad that somebody came at you. And the one thing Milan could say, well, I can't help you that you're insecure. Well, the next episode, it looks like you're insecure too, because you know what's going on with your body, Milan, too. But I do get what Milan was saying. You can't be sensitive if you're going to throw shade, because the clapbacks are probably going to be harder, especially if you don't know your opponent. So I really don't care about you, Nikki, and what you think is body shaming. Mackenzie and Milan. Okay, they have a sit down. Milan just says Megan is messy and she needs to admit it. Mackenzie says that Megan is messy because when they had a sit down, she was talking about wanting to lose weight. And Megan said, have you tried Ozempic? And she said, I did try it, but I ended up losing my booty. And Megan was like, oh, you did have a booty? Like, yeah, I had a booty, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, I guess Megan went to go tell Danny what was said. Danny went to go email Rashad about that. And I wish Megan had not done that, because we know where Danny is right now about everything. So that's really crazy right now. So that was wrong, Megan. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have. You know where Danny is and what she's on. Anyways, Milan's like, well, nobody holds Megan accountable. Everyone just accepts her to be messy. Okay, so what about you, Milan? You're chucking everything up that everybody's talking about everybody. What have you said about these people? It's quite weird, and I see how you just want the blame off of you real quick when you got some stuff to explain. Mackenzie does say that she talked to Neek, and she's really upset, and she really wants to know who's really for her. Not Milan. So it's a really, really, really weird situation that we are seeing with Milan, because you can tell that heifer is lying, and she is guilty and caught. And you could just basically say two messy people then see each other for who they are. Okay, so anyways, Megan and Morgan, they meet up. We find out that Morgan sponsored the wigs for the cancer event. She didn't get them for Ashley. She wanted to support Nikki. And that's why there are wigs there. Ashley can go get her own wigs. So they talk about what Milan was on and da-da-da-da-da. And basically what Morgan said weeks ago, she said today. Milan be messy and she be talking about people, but she doesn't own her stuff. And I think that's probably why Morgan went off the way that she did, because she knows the type of person that Milan is, and now that she's been the one being sniped, that's why she did go off. So Morgan says that she called Neek the ugly friend. I was like, what? Because it looks like Milan is going to each and every person to see who's going to be their friend, because she keeps losing them. And now she's going over to Ashley. Oh, we're just making up. Even though I think the second episode she says that I had the similar situation that Morgan had with Ashley, but now you're making up with her, because it just seems like you're doing everything for the show, ma'am. And you seem to be, I don't want to say clout chasing because it's not the right word for it, but you're trying to find a home within the group. Milan, you're getting caught up, and it don't look good on you. Megan says, you know what? You can call me messy, but I get paid to be messy. while you're being messy for free. I said, oh, okay, well, hey. Yeah, Megan owns her stuff. So I'm sure she's going to own whatever she said to Mackenzie, but I guess we got to see what happens. But now things are starting to take a turn, and next week's episode is going to get really messy. Megan's the force multiplier, and she's making drama. All right, well, please leave your comments. What did you think of this episode? What do you think of some of the ladies? Is anything clicking for some of you all that may even like Ashley, that you can see, oh, there's some messiness there? Anything about Milan that's different? You don't have to agree with me. Maybe you think that it's all Megan. I think it's Megan, and I also think it's Milan, but Milan's not going to really fess up to anything. And now she's gravitating towards Ashley again. So please like this video. Thank you for coming to my channel. Subscribe and share this video. Until the next one, peace.